In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 most deadly emotions that plague every single trader. Yourself, myself, everybody. These 3 emotions will destroy your P&L. It will absolutely drive you insane. And so you need to know what these 3 emotions are, what causes them, and some of the things that you can do to overcome them so that you can stay in control. And then if you're in control, then you'll be able to trade a lot better, and then your results will improve over time. So by the end of this video, we're going to go through all 3 of these deadly emotions that are affecting your trades, and I'm sure you can relate. So make sure you watch this to the end, and you'll have a clear understanding of how to overcome it by the end of this video. So let's get started. If you're new to my channel, go ahead, like and subscribe, drop your comments below. It's going to help boost the algorithm and get this video message out to more traders like you. So the first one that I think is hardwired into you from your old caveman days is fear. Now, fear is F-E-A-R. Forget everything and run. Or false evidence appearing real. So when it comes to fear in trading, you have to understand that the fear that you're feeling is all in your head. It's not actually real. There is a difference between danger and fear. Fear is all in your head. Danger is an external event that is actually capable of creating harm or hurting you in a physical sense. That is dangerous. So, for example, danger is driving a car fast and being reckless, causing accidents, and you can hurt yourself, you can hurt other people. That's danger. That's real. But the fear that you are feeling, either the fear of missing out, the fear of being wrong, the fear of making money, the fear of losing money, the fear of going into a drawdown, these emotions, this emotion, fear, is only affecting you. It's only happening internally to you. It's not actually dangerous, or it's not actually something from your external 3D environment. It's an internal thing. It's all in your head. That's why they say false evidence appearing real. So you can get fear-mongered. You can get scared into selling your positions. This is why crypto traders sell bottoms and then they buy tops, because they fear that they're going to lose their money at the bottom, or they buy tops because they fear of missing the move. So they essentially buy the end of the move. And so fear is absolutely 100% in your head. For example, you might have FOMO on a position. So you see your setup and it might not be ready yet. But in your head, you are fearing that you're going to miss out on this trade. So you enter in and it's not even ready. So you fear missing out and you enter early, and then you actually enter on a bad position. And this is going to affect you because now you're going into further drawdown. The move hasn't started yet. You're too early. So you fear missing out. Or the move has already started and you try to catch the move, and now you are in the move, but you have a worse entry. So then again, your risk reward is not so great. And this is going to eventually make you lose the trade. If it goes against you, if it stops you out, or whatever it is, it's all in your head. So basically, fear is a module in the course that I have that we actually work on to improve. There's many types of fear. So there's fear of profits, there's fear of loss, there is fear of being wrong. So there's also fear of judgment from other people. And it's all in your head. So basically, this is happening from negative patterns. Your personality, your behavior, the way you react to situations is all based on your regular patterns that you do over and over and over again over a long period of time. And so what fear is basically a negative emotion that is being triggered within you. So if you have this emotion within you and you don't get rid of it, if you don't clear this emotion, then every time you try to trade, you can try to tell yourself that you have no fear, that you don't have any FOMO or any of those thoughts that are making you react to the market. You might try to tell yourself, but because it is a constant negative pattern that is happening within you, it's always going to bubble up. And it's coming from your subconscious programming. It's coming from a childhood programming, a childhood trauma. Maybe, for example, you were at school and you were always taught to get the question or to get the right answer in your test. And if you got the wrong answer, you would be punished. So that creates the fear of being wrong. So when you have this old childhood subconscious programming, that's just one example. There are many, many examples that will trigger fear. Or maybe fear of missing out. So you were a kid and your friends were always invited to a birthday party, but you were never invited, so you always missed out and it made you feel bad. That is also a trigger for FOMO. So you can, once you understand where the root cause of all of these emotions coming from, then you begin to understand how to go in and fix them. So if you can remove them and just clear out that negative emotion, which is what we do in the Inner Edge Pro, in the first link in the description, is that we go in and we clear out all types of fear so that you essentially can trade without fear, no fear. And when you have no fear in your trading, you will make better decisions. You will make logical decisions. You're not going to make decisions based on fear. Do you see what I'm saying? Because fear is an emotion and you should not be trading from your emotions. So if you can delete the fear, then you're going to trade what you see. You're not going to hesitate. You're not going to doubt your trade. You're not going to doubt yourself. If you take a loss, it's not going to destroy you. You're not going to fear taking the next trade. So fear is very deadly and you have to get rid of it if you want to be able to trade consistently. Now, the second one that I want to talk about in this video is greed. Greed. Greed is good, like they say in the Wall Street movie. But is it really? Is it really good? Because greed will put you in the red once you are in the green. So you might be doing really well on the day or on the week. You might be up. You might be all green. And then the greed comes in and it tries to whisper in your ear that one more trade is okay. You can take one more. So basically, you don't know when to quit because you become greedy. And because you are greedy, eventually you're going to lose. You're going to take a loss. And then when you take that loss, now you're going to want to make it back because you're greedy. So now you have less than what you were. And now you have to fix it. So it overlaps with your ego. So greed is not always good. Greed is actually bad. You need to understand where the greed is coming from. And again, we have a whole module for fixing your greed. We can go in and delete the greed that is within you and clear it out so that you can trade without being greedy. But you have to understand where the greed is coming from. So the greed is triggered, again, from a lack or a scarcity mindset. So basically, you don't feel like you have enough. You think you don't have enough because somewhere in your past, greed as a pattern has been repeating itself. And it was caused from a lack of something in your past. So you didn't have enough something. Maybe you didn't have enough money, or maybe you didn't have enough food. You didn't have enough whatever it was. And it really ate into your subconscious programming, your subconscious mind. So now you're programmed with greed and lack. And then what happens when you come into a situation where you're in the market trying to trade and it's so easy to make quick money? So you think it's going to be easy to just make quick money by taking more trades. So then it's so easy to get greedy. But what actually happens is because your sense of lack, your programming of lack from your subconscious mind, this lack mentality thinks that there's no more trades for the rest of the day. You have to take this trade or you're going to miss this trade and then there's no more setups. So if you are able to switch from a lack mentality and look at the market, look at your charts as if it's abundant, as if it's never-ending supply of setups. Basically, if you don't have a setup today, you will have a setup tomorrow or the day after or the week after. There's always going to be a setup. It is the giving tree that gives forever if you just are patient and if you can just wait for your setup to play out, to show itself, to show its hand, and then you take the trade. So if you have an abundant mindset, then there's no need to be greedy. Greed is false. Hollywood has sold you a lie with all the movies. They told you that greed is good, but it's not. Greed is not good in the casino, and greed is not good in the markets. But then greed and fear go together. There's also, as Warren Buffett would say, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. So what that means is if the price is cheap and you're at the bottom of the market, other people are fearful of losing their position, their P&L. But the smart money is being greedy and buying up. Those types of opportunities are essential. So you have to understand when to be fearful, when to be greedy. And if you understand this, then by default, you will make money. You will be profitable over a long period of time because it's just the way it works. But then what most retail traders are doing is that they are greedy and they don't know why. They're not even aware that they're greedy. They just want more. They're greedy because they have a lack and scarce mindset. And so they're making decisions based on that past trauma or that past negative emotion that is now controlling the present. So what we have to do is go and delete that. We have to get rid of that emotion from the past so that it doesn't affect your trading when you're present in the now. And then if you want to be greedy to buy the dip to fill your bags, that is the different way of being greedy. That is the correct way of being greedy. That's being greedy. That's when greed is good. Do you understand? So there are a lot of nuances to this emotion, but most people are just trading from the scarce mindset that they don't have enough, and so they need to be greedy and basically take more trades. And then what that looks like when you're trading is basically over leveraging. So now you're doubling up on your position. You're trying to maximize your trades. You're holding your trades for too long. Instead of just being happy with a 1.5 or 2R trade, now you're going for a 10R trade or a 5R trade where it's so ridiculous because you're so greedy, because you're trying to extract everything out of the market today. If you try to extract everything from the market will extract everything from you. That's just the way it is. And only time will tell you this. Only you will learn this over time. And I'm sure you know it. The more time that you're in the market and you're being greedy, you're giving back. That's why most traders start the week in the green, and then by Friday, they're back in the negative. They gave it all back plus more because they got greedy. They weren't happy with a 1% or a 2% increase. They wanted to go for 5%. They wanted to go for 10%. And being greedy is also a result of your environment. So you might not like your current situation. You might not like your job. So now you're trading from survival. So you think that you have to be greedy and take more trades and keep trading and trade as much as you can. And then it gets dangerous because then you start losing and then you get frustrated and then you go on a tilt. And then you give it all back. And then next thing you know, you blow the account. And that leads me to the final emotion, which is the ego. Fear, greed, and then there's ego. The ego is the one that is fueling the fear and the greed because it refuses to be wrong. So when you are being greedy and you take a loss, now your ego wants to step in to fix the situation. So the ego is like a self-protection mechanism designed to protect you from being wrong, essentially. So the ego will step in and try to fix the situation. So if you take a loss or if you make a bad trade, your ego is affected. You don't want to take a loss because your fear of being wrong is going to affect your identity as a trader. You think that being wrong means that you're a bad trader, or worse, it means your strategy doesn't work. So your ego is going to either make you try to fix the trade. So now you're going to revenge trade. You're going to overtrade. You're going to get greedy. You're going to double up. You're going to double your position, and you're going to get greedy and try to take more profits to make the money that you lost back. But not only that, the ego is going to protect you and say that it's the strategy. It's going to blame the strategy instead of accepting the situation for what it is, that you just took a loss. You see? But because the ego doesn't want to admit that you took a loss, it wants to fix it, and it doesn't want to blame you. It doesn't want to say that the loss was part of the edge, part of your win ratio. It now is telling you that maybe there's a better strategy out there. So now you go and look for a new strategy, and then you start to change your strategy again. And this is a dangerous place. This is a killer state to be in, because what is going to happen is that you're going to now switch your strategy. You're not going to believe that your strategy works. No matter what or how much backtesting you do, you want to be right. And you get a dopamine hit from switching strategies. And it's just a vicious loop, right? And you can repeat this every week. Literally, you can repeat this every week. And then all of a sudden, you don't even know what your strategy looks like. You lose your edge because your ego is blurring your lines between what your strategy is and just taking a loss and moving on to the next stage. And this can keep you in a loop for years. It definitely kept me in a loop for a long time. And until I was able to snap out of it, nothing changed, right? So I actually also have a full module for ego within the course, the first link in the description. We go in and we tap it out. We get rid of the ego so that you can become a trader with no ego, and you don't need to prove anything. You're just there to trade your edge, essentially. So there you have it. Those are the 3 killer emotions that you need to be aware of. This happens to everybody, and you don't have to feel bad if it happens to you. It doesn't mean you're a bad trader. It doesn't mean anything negative. You're human, right? You are basically human, and you're dealing with human emotions. Your personality, your character, the way you react to markets is just basically old patterns repeating, right, from your subconscious. And so you have to go in and fix it at the root. Otherwise, it's always going to repeat. And so this is what we do within the Inner Edge Pro in the course. We identify the negative patterns, the negative emotions, and we get rid of them at the root, so that when you are finally clear, then you are in a better, more advantageous place or state of mind to trade. And then you can just go and trade your edge, trade your system, and understand that when these emotions arise, you have the tools at your disposal to get rid of them. This is the key, right? Even the best traders in the world, hedge fund traders, have tools to deal with their emotions when they bubble up. You have to be able to come back to the center and fix the emotions. You have to reset. You have to understand what's causing them. You have to know where it's coming from, because trading is mostly psychology. They fooled you and told you it was all strategy. It's not. The strategy is the easy part. It's running and managing yourself, your thoughts, your emotions. That's the tricky part. So I'm going to love you and leave you. If you're interested, check out the first link in the description, the Inner Edge Pro. If you're new to my channel, go ahead, like and subscribe, and let me know which one of these emotions are wrecking your trades the most, the ones that you struggle with the most, because there's at least one of them, I'm pretty sure. So let me know in the comments. Until the next video, you're on your own. Take care now. Bye.